Sis, natural hair and a trend. It's a lifestyle, girl. Hey Afroette, hey Curly Girl, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lenny, your favorite aspiring trichologist in the neighborhood. Lego. So today we're going to be continuing our part 3 of the Understanding Your Hair Structure series. If you haven't seen our part 1 and part 2, please make sure you do. I'll leave the links in the description box down below. Make sure you check them out so that you're up to date with everything that we've been up to, and so that everything we talk about today makes sense to you. Today we're continuing our series on low porosity, but focusing on an effective product selection technique, if I may. Right, we're gonna be zoning into ingredients. We're gonna be looking into tips. I'm gonna give you guys a few tips. We're also going to be looking at proteins that are low porosity friendly, and also when and how you should use those proteins. And we're also going to be looking at product recommendations. So please make sure that you stay tuned to the end of this video so you don't miss out on that. Remember our last video, we talked about different types of shampoos, 3 types of shampoos to be exact. We talked about those moisturizing ones, the sulfate ones, and the chelating shampoos that remove heavy product buildup and mineral deposits. All right, what's happening? So there's one thing that I would like you guys to note, that shampoos, regardless of whether it's moisturizing or not, the main property of a shampoo is its surfactant property. Surfactants are surface acting cleansing agents. The difference is that your moisturizing or cleansing shampoos, they don't strip your hair of its natural oils, right? While on the other hand, you know, your sulfate shampoos or chelating shampoos, they can strip or they detox. They go deeper than your moisturizing shampoos. Your moisturizing shampoos, they have sulfates such as Hydrolyzed, which is a coconut derived agent. They also have disodium cocoa. Okay, I can't pronounce that word, guys, but I'll put it somewhere there so you guys can see. And then we have sodium C14 or 16 olefin sulfonate. And then we have your sulfate shampoos, which are designed to remove heavy product buildup, like your gels, your silicones. These have sulfates such as sodium lauryl sulfates. They have ammonium lauryl sulfate, sodium laureth sulfate, and ammonium laureth sulfates. Right, so these are under the clarifying shampoos. And then we have ones with chelating agents such as EDTA. They go deeper than your regular clarifying shampoo. They remove mineral deposits, they remove like hard water deposits, they remove chlorine. So these usually have EDTA or ethylene diamine ethylene diamine tetraacetic acid, or EDTA. You can usually find them with the prefix of disodium EDTA, tetrasodium EDTA, or trisodium EDTA, or sometimes they can put an H before the EDTA, but it's still the same thing. All right, so those are the ones that do more than cleansing. They clarify, they detox, they purge your scalp, because remember that it's very important so that you remove those impurities. Otherwise you will not grow healthy hair. All right, and otherwise your hair will not properly get nourished and moisturized. So remember that when you use these products, especially when you clarify, you should always follow up with a deeply nourishing and repairing deepened conditioner. So now we look at ingredients. What should you look for when it comes to ingredients for low porosity hair? Because not all ingredients are made equal. Ingredients for high porosity are different for ingredients for some of them. They differ, because low porosity hair does not struggle with, you know, its structure. It has a properly working structure which has enough protein. So what you need to do is find a way to keep your hair moisturized. That is the challenge most of the time with low porosity hair. So when you buy ingredients, make sure that you look for penetrating oils that are going to penetrate into the shaft of your hair. We're going to start with oils. Oils do moisturize and condition. We have argan oil, we have rosehip oil, we have sweet almond oil. Make sure it's sweet almond oil, not just almond oil. You have grapeseed oil, you have sunflower, yes, sunflower oil. You have marula, which is my favorite. Marula also can penetrate into the shaft of your hair. So these are great for low porosity because they're not going to weigh down hair strands. All right, so we're going to move now into hydrants or humectants. This is now where you differentiate between moisturizers and hydrants. Sometimes we say moisturizing when you want to say hydrating. Well, I'm guilty of that. I recently learned that there's a huge difference, right, from learning about my skin and all of that, because hair and skin. So what is hydrating? Hydrating means that substances or humectants that absorb water from the outside into your hair. They can act as film foaming humectants. You have your plant gel humectants, and then you have your film foaming humectants. The difference is that with your other plant gel humectants, they don't have a complex molecular structure to preserve the water within themselves, so the water can easily escape. When it comes to film foaming, the reason why they can create that film is because they have a complex molecular structure. So that means that they can take in water and then preserve it within themselves, and then your hair needs it, they will release that moisture into your hair. I hope that's clear. So we're going to start with the plant gels that are good humectants, right? They keep your hair moist, in simpler terms. So we have glycerin. I know you guys don't like glycerin, but glycerin is a great humectant. If you use it right and you seal it properly, it will do wonders for your hair. It will moisturize your hair. It will keep your hair moist for longer. All right, you have glycerin, you have honey, and then you have propylene or caprylyl glycol. This also acts as a conditioner. We'll talk about conditioners in a minute. All right, and then you have your film foaming humectant. They give you slip, they give you definition. You know, when you put a product and then your curl is just properly defined, and when you detangle your hair, you don't struggle, because who wants to be spending hours and hours trying to detangle their hair? So slip is our best friend. We are naturally nature's best and superior hydrant. This list you'll find aloe vera, hydroxyethyl cellulose. You guys, you're gonna have to forgive me because I'm no chemist. Okay, I'll try my best to read these words the way that I wrote them. And then you have marshmallow root, you have slippery elm. I mean, it's in the name, right? You have panthenol or pro vitamin B5. Sometimes they write panthenol, sometimes they write pro vitamin B5. You have flaxseed gel or linseed. You have, okay, I can't pronounce this word, but it means honeyquat. I'll write it somewhere there so you guys can see. And we have nettle leaf. We have okra gel. Remember there was a rave about, you know, okra gel being very good at giving you that definition. It's because it's a humectant, guys. And then you have pectin. Pectin is found in the walls of fruits. Some fruits like your apples, your berries. It's what makes jam jelly, if I may, right? And then you have you have xanthan gum, and then you have guar gum. These are some of the humectants that you can find in your product ingredients. If you find a product that has 1 or 2 of its first 5 ingredients, then you're good to go, because the higher the ingredient list, the more concentrated those things are in the product formulation. All right, and then now we're going to jump into conditioning ingredients. These improve the feel, appearance, and manageability of hair. They help you to manipulate your hair. They prevent your hair from tangling. They create that smooth wall on your hair strands so that they can glide on each other instead of, you know, wrapping up. These are called fatty alcohols or emollients or emulsifiers, and these are cetyl or stearyl or citral or citric alcohol, and polyquaternium, centrimonium methylsulfate, bihydramonium methylsulfate, dihydramonium chloride, your esters, your sterols, and propylene or caprylyl glycol. Remember we mentioned it in the humectant. It's also a conditioning agent. And triglyceride. Sometimes they write caprylic or capric triglyceride or just capric. So those are your emollients. They give your hair that smooth feel. They give your hair that sort of like they coat your hair so that your hair is easy to manage and easy to manipulate. All right, and then we're gonna go into proteins. All right, but before we go into proteins, we're gonna take a little breather because sis has been talking for so long, my throat hurts. So let's take a breather. While we breathe, can you please do me a kind favor? Hit the subscribe. Hit, oh my god, what's happening? The English is running away. Somebody help me. Hit the subscribe button, the notification bell, and go ahead and give us a thumbs up if you like what you've heard so far. So we are going to continue into proteins. What type of proteins should you look out for in your products, and which ones have the lower molecule that can easily penetrate your hair, all right, or that won't overload your hair? So we're going to start with, first of all, understanding what proteins are. When it comes to proteins, you have what we call amino acids. Amino acids are like the smallest molecule of protein. They're a constituent of a whole protein, right? They are amino acids, and then those amino acids, they have what we call peptide bonds. Those peptide bonds, they bond those amino acids molecules together so they can make a whole protein. I hope I'm making sense, right? And then what they do is they hydrolyze, these people who make products, they hydrolyze that protein which has amino acids and your peptides. Hydrolyze means they have to break down into smaller molecules so that they can easily penetrate your hair or your skin. All right, I hope that's clear. If you have low porosity hair, you should look for, it'll be good or it'll be best if you found a product that has amino acids, because they are like the smallest molecule. And some of the amino acids that I've seen, sometimes they just say amino acids, right? Sometimes they say peptides, sometimes they say glycine or glycine betaine or GB or just betaine on its own, or you can find glutamic acid, alanine or alanine. Here's the thing, guys, I'm no chemist, or cysteine, or that's what you would find in your product. All right. And then when it comes now to hydrolyzed protein, you can, sometimes they write hydrolyzed protein, sometimes they write keratin or hydrolyzed keratin. They can write hydrolyzed oat, hydrolyzed wheat germ, or hydrolyzed collagen, or hydrolyzed silk, hydrolyzed quinoa, and hydrolyzed soya bean. So those are just some of the protein that you can find in your hair products. We're gonna go into it later. I'm gonna show you guys how you can choose and how you can make sure that you don't overload your hair with protein when it comes to choosing products. All right, now we're gonna go into product recommendations, which I know you guys have been waiting for. I'm gonna start with deep conditioners because you've just clarified your hair, right? So after you clarify your hair, what must you do now? You use this technique. You look at your product that has all of these things, which is a deep conditioner. There's a difference, guys, between a deep conditioner and your regular conditioner. They are rinse out conditioners, which you don't really have to sit. You leave them for 2 minutes, which I don't do that, and I've never done that in the days that I used to use conditioners. I don't use conditioners anymore, right? They sort of like help to heal your cuticle after you wash with some shampoo, right? They don't really do much. They don't have a lot of nourishment. While deep conditioners, on the other hand, they're a bit thicker. Your regular conditioner is a bit, it's viscous, meaning that it's like, it's not too thick, it's not too watery, right? But then your deep conditioner is a bit thick because it has oils, it has emollients, it has humectants, it even has proteins, some of them. All right, so we're gonna look at deep conditioners that don't have protein. I would say that if you're gonna just cleanse your hair, not clarifying, if you're cleansing or using shampoos that moisturize, you can use deep conditioners that don't have protein in them. But if you're going to clarify, because clarify is more harsh, then I would suggest that you look for, or you should have a deep conditioner that has 1 or 2 proteins in it in your product arsenal. And it also helps to reinforce your cuticle layer, because healthy cuticle equals healthy hair. All right, so let's go into the deep conditioners. And before we dive into that, one other thing that I want to share with you guys is that, remember, if you have low porosity, remember to always incorporate indirect heat in your deep conditioning sessions. Right, I mentioned on our previous video the types of indirect heat that you can use. So please make sure that you check it out so that you know you are up to date with that. I'd also say that I've heard people say that they use a product, when they try to detangle, it wasn't working. Sometimes the challenge is that you didn't let the product do its thing. You know what I mean? You were too quick. So sometimes it helps to put on your product and then you go under the heat bonnet or thing, and then after you do your heat session, then you can try to detangle when your hair now is more relaxed. You know what I mean? And also, one other thing I would urge you guys to do is always read instructions, because not all deep conditioners work the same. Some say stay under heat for 10 minutes, some they say go up to 30 minutes, some they say 5 minutes. So it's important that you understand the instructions before you apply that thing on your hair. So let's dive right into it. Product recommendation number 1 is going to be none other than our friend here on the channel. You guys know that I stand hard for a locally made product. This is made in Botswana. It's one of my favorite deep conditioners, hands down. It's by Ludo Beauty. It's called the Marula Anti-Breakage Deep Moisture Treatment. So most of the time when you look for hydrating deep conditioners, they write deep moisture or hydrating mask or deep nourishing conditioners, but it's always better to look at the ingredients, because sometimes they can put protein in any of those. So let's look at the ingredients, shall we? It has ingredient. I'm gonna be looking down so that you know, because I didn't cram all of this thing. Like I told you guys, I'm not crammer. Okay, so we have water, of course, because water is nature's best hydrant. You need water. Always make sure that the products that you buy, they have water listed as the first ingredient. You have water, You have aloe vera, which is a plant. We did say it's a plant humectant, or it's a foam forming humectant. You have castor seed oil, which is very good with conditioning your hair. These are healthy oils. They have other benefits that benefit your hair. You have glycerin, which is a great humectant. You have shea butter. You have sunflower seed oil, which we said that it penetrates your hair. It has smaller molecules than you have marula seed oil, which also penetrates your hair. And then you have centrimonium chloride. We said that it's a conditioner, right? You have cetyl alcohol, which is plant-based. So this is a fatty alcohol, which your hair needs as well. And then you have olive oil. I'm not going to talk about olive oil because I know you guys know what olive oil does. All right. And then we have rosemary extract, which is a growth stimulator, a cleanser, and increases shine. So these are the ingredients for Ludo Beauty. So you see, I didn't mention any protein. So if you need a deep conditioner just for hydrating your hair, you can use this one. It doesn't have protein. So for those that are in bots, it's everywhere. Check out that page and see where you can find it. All right, so now we're gonna move into our protein containing deep conditioner that you can use, because remember I said that use a deep conditioner every time you clarify. And one other thing that you should remember is that your ends will always be high porosity, because you've seen all things under the sun. So you need to make sure that you give them a little bit of protein to sort of like strengthen the structure, because you probably used heat on them plus wear and tear. It's normal. So you need to fortify the cuticle layer, even the inside of your hair strand once in a while. All right, so let's look at, I haven't really used this one, but I looked at the ingredients, and honestly, I would try it. I'm definitely going to try it. I have high porosity hair, so protein is a yay for me. So let's look at the ingredients. This is very extensive. Like, look at this. These are all the ingredients. So I'm not gonna read all of them, but I will write them on the side so you guys can check them out if you want to check them out. We have water. Like we said, water is very important. You have your conditioning or moisturizing oils, coconut oil, castor oil, tiger nut oil. I had no idea what tiger nut oil. Apparently it's very good. And this one has amodimethicone, right, which is a silicone. Most of the products that I saw at Clicks and Discount, they do have this silicone, but I heard from the certified trichologist, one of my inspirations, Afope Atayobe. You should check out her channel. I'll leave a link in the description box so that you check it out. She's a certified trichologist who gives facts backed up by science. Okay, so she says that this one, after you apply it on your hair, it will evaporate after some time. Plus, if it's in a deep conditioner, I honestly don't think that it does any harm. It would be a challenge if it was in your refresher spritz or your your curling custard and your leave-in conditioner. So apparently it does not build up. Hey, I heard from her, so go for her, don't come for me. Okay, I'm quote her, not me. So yes, and then you have shea butter, which is very good. You have cetyl alcohol, which is one of the fatty alcohols. We have a lot of oils there. We have a lot of conditioners. We have dihydroammonium methyl sulfate. You have vitamin E. We have avocado oil. You guys know what avocado does. We have provitamin B5, which is a very good humectant, and vegetable glycerin, which is the same. It's a humectant as well. And then I'm trying to look for protein here. We have, yes, there it is, hydrolyzed keratin. Right, remember we mentioned hydrolyzed keratin on our protein. So we have hydrolyzed keratin here, followed by hydrolyzed collagen, which is another form of protein. So this is a deep conditioner that has protein. It's called Zinga Repairing and Strengthening Treatment. You see, when you see repairing and strengthening, right? Because protein gives you strength, and it also repairs the cuticle layer when it's been depleted or when it's been chipped by your styling accessories, if I may. So this is what you can have if your hair doesn't suffer from product overload. You can look for a product that has one or maximum two types of protein in them. You can look for hydrolyzed keratin, hydrolyzed collagen, or simply amino acids, or those ones that we mentioned under amino acids, right? So both with protein, deep conditioners without protein and with proteins. So that's about it. That concludes it. That was very long, wasn't it? Before we close, I would like you guys to do me one huge small favor. It's not even a huge favor, it's a small favor. I would like you guys to go into your product stash, take out your products, put them in front of you. I don't know how many you got, but if there's a lot, you're gonna be there for a long while. Separate them into ones that have protein and ones that don't have protein. You can even do them this way. You can have your deep conditioners that have protein and those that don't have protein, and then you have your leave-in conditioners that have protein and those that don't have protein. And then I would suggest that every time after you deep condition and then you use a deep conditioner with protein, let's say maybe you've clarified and now you're deep conditioning with a deep conditioner that has protein, make sure that the leave-in conditioner that you use does not have protein, because otherwise it's going to overload. It's difficult to correct protein overload than dehydration or protein malnutrition, if I may. All right, so do that and you see a huge difference in how your hair behaves. And if you do have fine textured hair, because it is possible, yes, it is possible, there are people who have fine textured hair which is low porosity. This is why now I told you guys that I don't believe in the what do they call it, the texture chart, right, which tells you whether you're 3B, 3C, 3A, because I think I have 3C, maybe 4A hair, and my hair is high porosity. There can be somebody within the same category who has low porosity. So you see how it's a bit challenging when it comes to selecting products. It doesn't really work that well when it comes to selecting products. Of course, it's good on other things, but when it comes to products, I feel it's limited. So that's just my take on that. So now that you know what you're supposed to do, go out there and try this technique. Believe me, it's going to save you a lot of money. It's going to help you to manage your hair. It's going to help you love your hair, because you know what type of ingredient gives you slip, what type of ingredient defines your hair, what type of oil penetrates into your hair and won't weigh your hair down. I hope you guys found this video interesting. I hope you guys found this video informative. If you have, please show your appreciation by giving us a thumbs up, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share with your friends. And you can follow us on our other social media platforms, Instagram at Bantu Slap or Facebook at Bantu Slap, and join the gang. So with that being said, please do continue watching the series until the end, because on our the fifth part of this series, which will be the final part, I'm gonna have we're gonna do like a huge announcement. So you don't want to miss on that. It's huge. It's like it's probably the only huge announcement that I've ever done in the channel. So make sure that you don't miss out on that. Until we meet again next time, thank you guys for your support. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. You guys encourage me to keep on researching, to keep on sharing, to keep on posting. Until we meet again on our fourth part of the series. Bye.